Good evening. Welcome to OmniBro Live. I'm the only one here, but I'm tired of waiting for them, so I decided to start. Here I am, Omnidog, from Omnidog's Vault on YouTube, Omnidogs_Vault on Instagram. What should I talk about? How about InStockTrades.com, our fabulous sponsor, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. Over $50 in an order gets you free shipping in the United States. Fabulous packaging, fabulous customer service. That's InStockTrades.com. Where are those guys? Time is wasting. Okay, so what we're talking about tonight is our favorite Marvel and DC runs. These are the books that I've actually read, so we know that's only like 10% of my collection. These are books that I've read and enjoyed and can unconditionally recommend to you. Unconditionally. That's right. They come with no conditions. And here we have Comics Guide 101. We're live, buddy.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Is it just me and you tonight? Oh no, Omar's joining us after Girl Scouts.
And there he is right now.
Hey.
What? Am I late? I'm not late.
You're
No,
the
you're good,
latest.
I'm always on time.
No, I started the show 4 minutes ago.
Oh, whoop-de-doo. Did you do our sponsor ad already?
I sure did. I've already started talking about what our topic is.
What's our topic?
You said you'd prepare for it, so I can tell
did.
you you've been eating Girl Scout cookies instead.
I did not been eating Girl Scout cookies. I was watching my channel. Told Maddie I would watch the channel. And yes, of course I'm ready. Hey, real quick, I don't remember what we said last time. Did we include Gotham Central in that?
Gosh, that's a good question, because that's a book that I have to talk about too. So let's pretend we didn't talk about it.
I think we did, but go on.
I think we did too, but let's talk about it again.
We're the two old men in OmniBros. We suck. Okay, let's do it. Let Louise go first. Let the young gun go first.
I keep forgetting that Omar, because you do look young. You do look young for your age. I keep forgetting that Omar, you're the second oldest out of all of us here.
I'm 40, man. I'm almost 41. My brain, not what it used to be, bro.
No. You still got it, dude. All right. So my pick. So we're doing potential classics, right?
You are doing potential classics. Omar and I are doing our favorite runs. That's
Nobody told Luis about the change.
I told him no. I told him that he could do potential runs that he thinks are going to be classics as a spin on it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, let's do it then.
All right, that sounds good. So my first pick will be Scott Snyder's Black Mirror.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a good one.
I think personally that Scott Snyder's Black Mirror is a modern-day classic run. It's a great take on Dick Grayson Nightwing. It was only a few issues because it was towards the end of the DC era before they jumped into the New 52 stuff. And it also has one of those endings where I was like, fuck, I know we'll never get to this ending because DC Comics never technically get to that far in the future, but it does leave you with a hook that's like, oh shit, I really want to see where this story goes. Not only that, but Scott Snyder successfully brings back Jim Gordon's son, which is a long forgotten character in DC canon. He reintroduces him, he gives him new motivation, he makes him creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
And he just makes a great new villain specifically for Nightwing in this case. This is definitely Nightwing's big bad. I also love the fact that how Scott Snyder is able to use Joker in this, where Joker, he looks at Nightwing and he looks at Dick Grayson when he's under the cowl. There's this scene where Dick confronts him about everything that's going on, and Joker just flat out says, "You're not my Batman. Like, there's something different about you, and you're not the Batman that I know." And just the little stuff like that really make this, to me, one of those classic runs that 10, 15 years from now, then even 20, 30 years from now, when people are just looking back on Scott Snyder's legacy, whatever that may be, they will be able to go, okay, he really, really set off and got his foot in the right direction with Black Mirror. It also helps that he's got fantastic artists on the book. I mean, he's got Jock, Francisco Francavilla, and it goes on and on and on. It's a phenomenal little mini series.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I just brought up because we did our favorite runs in comics. He was focusing more on DC and I was focusing more on Marvel. He said that Tom King was his favorite. It used to be Scott Snyder, but I think to me still, I think Scott Snyder, his run on Batman was really damn classic. Like it was good. I think I compared it to Jim Lee and Chris Claremont's X-Men run as far as modernizing the character, but still holding true to his values and things. I thought they did a phenomenal job. And it's hard to say what Tom King will do, right? Like, because his run is still going.
Yeah.
I mean, he could top it, but we just don't know yet.
King's run is very popular right now, but to me, it doesn't have that same heat I think a lot of that also, and he killed the wind out of his sails, I think, with the wedding issue where he didn't go through with it.
That's your own personal pet peeve.
No. And you know, I've since kept reading it and I've moved past the wedding issue, but I do think that kind of killed a little bit of the wind out of his sails, for his Batman run, where a lot of people were really hyped about that. Whereas for this Snyder stuff, I remember going to the comic shop the day that issue dropped, that first issue of the New 52, Greg Capullo, Scott Snyder one. It was sold out almost by the time I got to the shop. I knew the guy, the shop owner, and he was able to hold an issue for me. He's like, dude, I've got like 3 issues left and I just opened my doors. So there was hype from the very beginning of that series, and it pretty much carried through all the way till the end of his run, where people were every single month, man, I got to get my Batman fixed. I have to pick up that new issue of Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo's Batman issue, because 9 times out of 10, it was really good. It was at least really good. And I don't see that type of fervor and that type of ravenous fan base that I see that Tom King's run has. That resurrected Greg Capullo's career. Capullo was a 90s guy. And I remember people were talking a lot of shit about Capullo when that first preview came out and that cover came out. People were like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, Joker's got a shaved question mark in his head. You know, this is some 90s trash. And the guy just proved everybody wrong throughout that Court of Owls arc.
They wanted I got to interview him last year, and Marvel wanted him for Astonishing X-Men. So like was it Astonishing? It was something else. Marvel wanted him for an X-Men book. So he had to like decide, where do I go? And I think he made the right choice. As much as I would have loved to have seen him on an X-Men book, because you're right. I mean, he was 90s X-Force.
Yeah.
So speaking of 90s, one of my top favorite runs of all time that I did not bring up the last time was Fabian Nicieza and Mark Bagley and Derek Robertson's New Warriors. One of the most underrated runs because everybody thinks 90s. Unfortunately, the way those characters were treated in this horribly overrated series called Civil War makes them out to be joke characters, and they were so much more than that. I mean, they were that storyline from issue 1 all the way until he ended his run on issue 52 was just full of so much just teen drama. I would compare it to like Wolfman and Perez's Teen Titans. It was that good, except it was set in the 90s, and it was Marvel characters. And come on, Marvel, get us a Volume 2 omnibus out there sometime, please. Jess?
Well, I promised I would keep my analysis short, so I'm going to, because I have like 1 million books.
1 million.
I'm going to just say the book is Hitman. This is Hitman Volume 2 by Garth Ennis. Not a huge fan of the art, but it never took me out of the book. This is funny. It's got heart. It's original. It's a crack up, just mind-bendingly great crack up book that I love, Hitman, and it's coming out. Well, we hope it's still coming out, depending on what DC Collected Editions does. It's getting reissued in really thick paperbacks, so these will be less hard to find. Hitman, awesome.
Wow.
See, I told you I'd keep it short.
I'm a huge fan of that run too. I don't know why we don't have huge trades of that stuff. And what is the artist on that? McCrae?
Tom McCrae.
Yeah, his art, fucking awesome, man. That story with Superman. And if you haven't read it, it's got kind of a big spoiler there towards the end, but it's so good. So
I
good.
need to reread the whole thing. I don't know.
It's not that long, is it? It's only like what, 50 issues or something like that?
It's 7 trades.
I don't know how long that is.
It's 7 trades.
All right. So on to Luis's topic. He's the only one that's playing. Jess told me something different. Okay. What's gonna be a classic run? Yeah, that's a good topic, man. I like that one too. What's gonna be classic? We'll do it instead.
That's okay. I pulled.
No, we're not changing. We're not changing it, Jess. We're not doing that.
Okay, we're doing it live.
We're doing it live.
Okay,
we argued the last time about this, remember? And you talked me into doing it. It's all right. Luis, what do you see being a classic in, like, what is it, 20 years? Is that when it's considered a classic?
What's the standard typically? 20, 30 years from now? Something like that?
I don't know. Jess?
We'll be dead.
No, that's not what I was going to ask. When did you start considering things a classic?
If
classic rock is different now than when you were listening to classic rock.
Yeah, I'd say 15 years is probably a good.
Oh my God, 15. Okay,
15 to 20 years.
Yeah, that sounds about fair.
Just so Derek the Diverse knows, we covered Promethea last week, I think.
Did we?
Yeah, I said Promethea.
One of the few Alan Moore works I have not read yet.
Brilliant.
Still holding out for that omnibus, but until then. I'm going to get those stupid hardcovers that are going to get canceled. All right, Luis, what do you got, man?
All right, so this is very early on. Like, it's only, I think, on issue 10 right now. But it does everything that I think it needs to, and it has the potential to become something that this writer can really lay the groundwork on and build a very strong legacy for a character that's from the 90s that a lot of fans, he's got his diehard fans, but he's pretty shallow in terms of depth. I'm talking about Donny Cates' Venom run. I'm all caught up on Donny Cates' Venom run, and the stuff that he's doing with the mythology involving Venom, where he's introducing a symbiote, however you want to say it, god, is really good. Like, really fucking good. And then he ties in even Jason Aaron's Thor run, and he's introducing these new powers, these new abilities, and I don't want to spoil too much because it's really fucking good. And when you pair that off with Ryan Stegman's just gorgeous pencils and gorgeous art, you get a run that has just classic in the making right off the bat. And the thing is, Donny Cates is a writer, like I've mentioned this before, where he to me is this year's Scott Snyder, where when Scott Snyder came out, he was hot. He had American Vampire. He had his Batman run. He had the beginning of his Swamp Thing run, which, say what you will, when it gets to Rot World, it kind of falls apart a little bit for me. But he was putting out books where if you had Scott Snyder's name on it, you were pretty much going to give the book a try. And I think Donny Cates is at that level right now, where if Donny Cates' name is on a book, I'm going to at least give it a few issues to see how it is. And I really love what he's doing with the character of Venom, which for me has always been, yeah, he looks cool. He's the Brawley of the Marvel Universe. Stupid as fuck premise, but goddamn, he looks fucking cool.
Jess doesn't get that.
No,
I just won't get that.
He's like, what's a Brawley?
Brawley. That's English slang for umbrella.
I just won't get that reference, but What Donny Cates is doing is that he's reinventing the origin, he's reinventing the backstory of it, and just giving us a lot more weight involving Eddie Brock and what he does with the character of Flash Thompson and how he ties that in as well, and Agent Venom, and there's just so much going on, and it's only 10 issues in, and I can't wait to see where he takes the rest of the story.
Man, you really hyped his run up. I've read the first 3 issues, and I really liked where it was going, so I may need to keep reading. I wish there were more Insta classics like that, like writing X-Men right now, but whatever. For my next trick, I know we didn't mention it the last time, so I'm going to go with Grant Morrison, Animal Man. We didn't mention that, did we, Jess? I can't remember.
I didn't get a chance to talk about it, so go for it.
Good. Animal Man, yes. It's one of the best Vertigo titles out there. I guess, yeah, it was Vertigo at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that book. That's a book, and I still consider it a book, not even a series, right? Because it went on past Grant Morrison. Other writers came on. But that to me was such a good standalone story to get to know the character of Buddy and all his family. It's wonderful. It's breaks the fourth wall. They do a lot of he did a lot of things that became Morrison tropes later on in that title. Not as crazy as like Doom Patrol or anything like that, but man, just that book was so great. And all those covers by Brian Bolland, who's a classy dude. You want to add anything to that, Jess?
It's Ryley's all-time favorite book for a reason. It was mind-bendingly good from the first issue on. It took a D-level character and elevated him to must-read reading.
All right. Silver Fox, what's next for you?
One of my favorite runs in Marvel just got finished with its fifth paperback. That is The Unbelievable Gwenpool. I love this book.
I know you're doing so weird.
It's so fun. It is a blast.
I can't.
Have you even read it?
I've not read
it.
I just remember it was 2017. We were doing best books of 2017, and you picked Gwenpool, and fucking Gabe picked Spider-Gwen, and I'm like, what kind of bizarro fucking world did I just walk into? Granted, I haven't read them, so they could be the best freaking things ever. I wouldn't know. All right, tell me what is so fun about Gwenpool? Is she Marvel answer to Harley Quinn? Is that why you like her?
No, she does break the fourth wall a lot. She's an Our Earth character that gets dropped into Earth 616 and has superpowers because she knows what all the villains are going to do and knows she can't get killed. And she gets a costume and just acts completely crazy. As I said, she breaks the fourth wall, and MODOK is in it, and the art is fun and pop art. And it is just a riot of a book where she knows all the there's all kinds of superhero cameos, and she knows all their weaknesses and powers, and it's all kind of a big cosmic joke to her, because it'd be like if we got planted into Earth 616 and we immediately knew all the secrets and how things were run. And I just absolutely love Unbelievable Gwenpool. Love it. I will definitely upgrade to oversized hardcover of some sort.
And then what if an omnibus gets announced a year after you buy all those oversized hardcovers? Do you love it enough to triple dip?
No. I'm fine with oversized.
Then you're not a Gwenpool fan.
Oh, shut up.
Take that tattoo off your chest. All right. Luis, what's another instant classic, man?
Okay. So to clarify, because apparently I'm getting shit on in the chat for this, it's potential classics, assholes. Well, I'm saying that they are classics. They have the potential to be classics.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That was my bad. Just changes the topic on me.
I didn't. Oh, shut up. No,
I love you, man. All right, what do you got? What has the potential to be a classic?
So this should come as no surprise to anybody who has been sucking on the Tom King teat lately.
Right here.
He's been on fire with a lot of great books, but to me, he still hasn't topped Vision. I mean, what more can be said? That to me is 12 issues of just pure comic goodness, where he took a character. He took a character where a lot of fans knew about him, but he never really had too many defining runs or too many runs where people thought he was really cool or really important or anything like that. Like, yeah, he fucked Scarlet Witch. Okay. And that's about it. And they had a kid, and then that ended up causing that whole mess. But yeah, Tom King's Vision to me is really good. To me, it's the best thing he's ever done, with Mr. Miracle falling probably second place. It's just so tight. The entire run is just absolutely so tight. You can start with that first issue, and then you read, what is it, 12 issues, I think?
It's 12 issues.
Yeah, it's 12 issues. You could read from issue 1 through 12, and you can see where everything that he lays in the first few issues pays off in the ending issues, the introduction of his family, and all this other crazy stuff that he brings to the character. It's brilliant. I love Tom King's Vision, and I can definitely see that 20, 30, 15 years, however the fuck long we have left, being a classic.
Nice.
Okay.
I agree.
Write these down, Jess. We can use them a year from now when we do the same episode. Because your ass and my dumb ass will forget. Let's see. What's another great run for me? Would have to go with
Dan Slott Silver Surfer. Oh, sorry.
But that's a good one. JLI by Giffen and DeMatteis. DeMatteis. J.M. DeMatteis, right? Jess, help me. Throw me a bone.
DeMatteis.
They kind of got screwed over when DC approached them about writing a Justice League book. They were like, hey, we got a Justice League book. Do you guys want to write it? And I'm like, fuck yeah. Oh, man, we're going to have Superman. We're going to have Wonder Woman. It's going to be great. And they were only given Batman and Guy Gardner and a bunch of C-stringers that were coming across from the Charlton universe, right? So you had Captain Atom and Blue Beetle. And then you had Booster Gold. Black Canary, she stayed around. They even had Captain Marvel, I think, for like 6 issues or something like that. But they took that formula that we didn't mention Ostrander, did we? Suicide
no.
Squad. Okay, we need to. They took that Suicide Squad formula and made you care about these characters, which is one of my favorite things that any good writer can do, such as like Peter David with his run on X Factor Volume 2, or actually 3. But man, I love that run, and it's a damn shame. And I know the reason why we're not going to get any more Omnis, but I wish we would, because that run, their whole run needs to be collected, because it's that damn fucking good.
Jazz Cabbage, I hope when you say you're reading Pink Panther, you mean Snagglepuss Chronicles, because I didn't recommend any Pink Panther books. So I hope you're talking about Snagglepuss. My next favorite run, Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman.
Oh, you took mine. That was on mine too. Good choice. Good choice.
I'll let you talk about it if you want. She fights issue volume 2. She's like blind and still kicks ass and has just this amazing code of honor, and she is really the Amazonian that we've always wanted, just a regal, ass-kicking dignitary. And the first volume contains the Hikatea, which is the out-of-print hardcover of her run with Batman and the promise that she has to keep. It's worth it just to get this alone, to see her stomp on Batman's face. It is, like right here, it is a classic book. It is a classic story, the Hikatea. and I think that it is astonishing. The Greg Rucka Wonder Woman is everything you've ever wanted Wonder Woman to be and more. It is just classically written, super fun, and she is just a badass diplomat.
I can't add much more to that. It is my favorite Wonder Woman run.
Yeah, I agree.
Wonder Woman was one of those characters that was kind of had a hard time trying to read and into, because I love George Perez's art, but the way that the stories were told, they were really dialogue heavy when he revamped that character. And it wasn't until I think William Messner Loebs, who was a very, very rated writer on Wonder Woman, it wasn't until his run where Artemis was introduced that I wasn't really digging that character. And then by the time Rucka took over, which unfortunately came towards the end of that era because that was right before Infinite Crisis. Man, I love reading those. And by the time you get the Sacrifice, that's well, I guess it was a crossover event with Superman. It's so fucking good. Yeah, good one, Jess. I like that run more than I did his Rebirth run. I love his Rebirth run, but the original Rucka run, man, that's where it's at. That's where Wonder Woman's at. If you've ever been, trying to get into that character, that's the one that's my go-to place to recommend people read.
I was just gonna ask, how's that Rebirth run?
I think it's
good. It's good.
I like it a lot, but yeah, I agree with Omar that this.
I read the first 2 issues and I wasn't crazy about it, but I did enjoy the little bit that I read.
You read the first 2 issues?
Yeah.
Oh, so they were like at different times because one was in the past and one was in the present. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did that for the first 12 issues, and then sad though because what would he do, like 24, 23?
Something like that. Didn't he get the boot off the book, or did he leave?
I think he left.
No, he left out of his own accord.
He doesn't get the boot. He boots people.
He boots Frank Cho off his book.
Yeah.
Quit drawing Wonder Woman so sexy, you bastard. All right, Jess, what you got, man?
Actually,
no, wait, that was yours.
Steve.
That was yours. Sorry. Yeah.
It's all good.
Luis, potential classic.
Potential classic. God damn it. Okay, so on this one, I'm gonna do a little bit of give the smaller publisher a little bit of love. By smaller, I mean Dark Horse. This writer, he has been kicking ass, and he's probably one of the hardest working men in comics, considering everything he's put out in the past year, everything he's been working on. Just an insane amount of talent, and he is basically pulling his own Hellboy. He's crafting his own universe, and God damn it, if you guys aren't reading this, you really owe it to yourself to, once this show is over, to pick up the first collected edition of this. I am talking about Black Hammer by Jeff Lemire.
Do I own that? I own that.
Black Hammer.
You own that.
Black Hammer to me is just pure classic comics. It really does seem like Jeff Lemire went to the Dark Horse offices and said, well, Hellboy, their universe is kind of wrapping everything up. You guys are going to need something. So, yeah, I've got my own little thing going on. He's establishing his own universe with side characters. There's a tie-in story involving a little girl with a Cthulhu head that's actually kind of really touching and creepy at the same time. There's the Dr. Star miniseries that came out last year, which was fucking fantastic, and nobody read it. Basically, everything that the guy's doing right now in the Black Hammer universe, it's gold. It really is gold. I haven't seen this much heat on a creator and their universe since Mike Mignola started the Hellboy universe and started branching out with side titles. It's just, and it's insane. And his output is crazy. Like last year alone, he did, I forgot how many issues of Black Hammer. He cranked out a whole bunch of issues of Black Hammer on top of cranking out a few side stories that were all just really phenomenal. And if you're looking for something that's a little bit different involving superheroes, Black Hammer is the book to read right now. I love this universe. I really do. And I'm so happy that now that we are only 2 issues away as of yesterday, before we wrap up the BPRD universe present timeline, and then Mike is done with the present stuff, and he's just going to focus on the 1950s stuff and all that stuff. I'm happy that I've got a universe now that I could jump into.
Sweet. It is awesome.
It's really good.
It's a love letter to classic comics.
Well, I've got the first hardcover. Maybe I need to crack that open. As I'm almost done with Transformers Phase 2, Volume 8. And I got nothing to
read Transformers before Black Hammer.
Don't you use that fucking tone on me when you talk about Transformers.
How is that?
I haven't read Gwenpool. You can't give me shit about Transformers.
How's the IDW stuff? Because I've read a little bit of it.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, I read when they basically made Megatron Malcolm X or something.
Yeah, he's like a civil rights leader.
Yeah,
like, that's how they depict him at first. No, it's just they have done some amazing stuff. I've done a couple of videos on my channel, and I think Dan and I are gonna do one more video, like a goodbye video to the IDW verse, because they just recently rebooted it in like a hard reboot, like a DC Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of reboot.
Do it live from BotCon.
Shut up, nerd.
So is there a point where Megatron's wearing like a Che Guevara hat or anything like that?
No, but there have been some awesome variant covers, man. Like there's one, it's kind of like the Killing Joke variant cover of Megatron with a reflector, the little camera dude.
Oh, that's cool.
So my next run, one of my all-time favorite runs, would be on Thor. I love Jason Aaron, but he hasn't wrapped up yet, so I can't choose him. So I'm going to go with Walter Simonson's Thor.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to choose my favorite storyline, which is the Ragnarok storyline, which is what Ragnarok is based on. As much as I love that movie, I don't think they did the death of Scourge any justice, because that comic book made me shed some manly tears when Scourge died. On top of that pile of just fucking demons. Oh my God, I love that run. I love that, and I love that story.
Ha, nerd.
Where they talk about they sing no songs in hell. Oh man, what a fucking awesome! What a way to go, man. Anyway, yes.
Nice. My next favorite run made my all-time top 12 list because it's a blast. All new Wolverine. Laura is great in this. She has very much a grounded personality, but she has a sense of humor. She's got clones. One of them is a little clone named Honey Badger with a pet Wolverine that gets Tom Taylor writes her all the best lines. This is one heck of a good book. Action-packed, very funny, and right up my alley. I don't have a problem at all if they call her the all-new Wolverine. Wolverine's going to be coming back, so don't worry, fanboys. He's probably already back in some shape or form. But she is a kick-ass Wolverine. The art is great, and Honey Badger is a fricking crack-up, and I love all 6 volumes of All New Wolverine. I will get this in omnibus or oversized hardcover form. I love this book.
I'm glad I could turn you into some good reading there, some smart comics. Have you picked up the X-23 book that just came out?
Yeah, I did, but I haven't read it yet. Yeah, I do have it.
You'll like it. It keeps it keeps the same kind of tone.
Now, wait, is that really by Kelly Thompson?
No, it's. Well,
Who's
now you got me confused. It's by one of the Mariko sisters.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, right.
Oh, Tamaki sisters. One of them. I can't remember which one though. But anyway, it's good. I like it.
Jess, I can't back this up because of the principle that why are we replacing all our male characters with female characters? I personally feel offended by this, and I will not stand for this.
But it beats replacing them with Latino characters, because that's even worse. Nobody wants to see that shit.
I feel offended. My masculinity is in question.
Jess would stop buying Gwenpool if she was Latina.
La Gwenpool.
All right, Luis, what is next, man?
All right, so this is going to come to a surprise. Might come to a surprise to a few people, considering that I've kind of shit on this guy for quite a bit. It's not Chris Ware. But I've talked about this creator and how for some fucking reason he's unable to almost finish any one of his damn runs. Come on, man. Let's get this together. But I got to give it to my man Hickman for his Fantastic Four run.
Oh, you stole it from me. It was my next choice, you bastard.
I love doing that to Jess.
Damn it.
He has this old man freak out where he doesn't know what to do now. And it's all caught on film or camera, whatever the hell we call this.
Uh-huh.
Why do you love it so much, man?
Okay, so first things first, this, like most of Hickman's stuff, you're going to get through the first few issues and you're going to think, what the fuck is going on? He's introducing a lot of really weird concepts. He's, you know, kind of setting up a lot of things, as Hickman tends to do, but this actually moves at a bit of a faster pace than a lot of his other stuff, where this gets going pretty quickly, unlike, say, his Avengers run, where you got to get 20, 30 issues before you're like, oh, okay, this is where the good shit is. His Hickman run, to me, is Hickman's Fantastic Four run is basically taking the Fantastic Four, Hickman going, how can we take these characters that they're the first family of the Marvel Universe. They're basically the backbone of the Marvel Universe because so many characters came out of that. But at the same time, before Hickman got his hands on it, yeah, these guys they're kind of a little bit dated. Let's modernize them a little bit. Let's introduce some really crazy high concepts, and let's have fun with them. And just so many fucking great moments in that run in general. There's the moment involving Galactus, a moment involving his son with Galactus that I can't get into because of spoilers. Really, just the entire run for me is just fantastic. Fantastic. And I love the fact that basically once Hickman finishes telling his main story, he's like, all right, well, I've got about 7, 8 issues left on my contract, so I'm just going to kind of do one-shot issues and have a lot of fun with this. The introduction of Spider-Man into the Fantastic Four team was really well done. And basically the death of Johnny Storm, yeah, we knew he was going to come back regardless. It was still very emotional, and it still really affected me. And I remember picking up those issues where people are going, who's going to die in the Fantastic Four? Which one of them is going to go? Even though we all knew they were going to come back, it was still a pretty big event for a lot of fans. And I remember the black poly bag and all that other stuff. But yeah, Hickman's Fantastic Four run to me has all the makings of a modern day classic. And to me, it's my personal favorite Fantastic Four run of all time.
He did a really good job, like taking a lot of crap that Mark Miller left too, and just running with it towards the beginning of his run.
Yeah, the alternate universe Reed Richards, which I've read some stuff this week that he pops in, and I was like, oh shit, that's really cool that they're bringing this character into this book, and yeah, I really dug that. He pulls from everywhere. He pulls from everywhere.
I loved that Fantastic Four run. It was exceptional.
It was better than his Avengers run, that's for sure.
I agree with that, actually.
And because I know a lot of people love his Avengers run.
I agree with that too. I love his Avengers run, but I worship his Fantastic Four run. It is remarkable. Somebody
clock that. What is 9:42? 3 Omnibros agreed on something.
I do think that. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You do think?
I do think that the ending of his Avengers run was kind of cut underneath him because I'm almost 100% sure he was meant to reboot that entire universe, and they just last minute just decided not to go full hog reboot with it.
They should have, but oh well. Let's see. Where was I? Let's talk about the Gotham Central. Jess.
Mm-hmm. Good choice.
Such a good book.
It is. I think. Oh God, I'm pretty. This is deja vu, but I'm pretty sure I said it. It's probably my favorite Brubaker story. So maybe we did talk about it.
I don't know.
Maybe we talked about it on another show. I don't know.
Brubaker did the night shift and Rucka did the day shift or something. I know they split it up like that.
They split up.
Yeah.
And it was really cool how they tied it into Infinite Crisis. I know why, because we talked about it on Monday. Somebody had brought it up in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yes, that run is phenomenal. If you don't own that omnibus, go get it, because those hardcovers were out of print for a long time. It is so damn good. It's the best non-Batman Batman story ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where they treat Batman like cops really would treat Batman, as a bit of an interloper and not necessarily their friend.
That was the kind of show I wanted out of Gotham. That would have been really good, and a lot better than what they ended up with.
Well, you'll absolutely love this. We're getting an Alfred spin-off TV show set in the Gotham universe.
You know what? I'm good. I'm done. I'm done. I don't need that shit. I was never a big fan of things like Smallville, right? Like I think I watched 3 seasons of Smallville and realized I was like, okay, we know where this is gonna go, but I don't think we'll ever get there. And if they ever get there, all we'll see is maybe the costume. And holy shit, I think season 10 years, 10 years after it premiered, I think we finally got to see that with the iconic John Williams theme. But I did not stick around to watch. Jess?
I'm going to pick Posehn and Duggan's Deadpool.
Ooh, good choice.
This is the Deadpool that made me love Deadpool. Not only is he typically his fourth wall breaking self, not only is he funny, but he gets a real heart in this. He ends up with a daughter. They wrote him with a wife. They wrote all kinds of interesting family stuff. And his one-liners are just brilliant in this. The whole thing is just my favorite Deadpool. And I can't say enough about Posehn and Duggan's Deadpool. It is remarkably funny, has a lot of heart, and is just I loved the whole thing. Just so much fun. That's what I have to say about that.
Have you gotten a chance to start his Scotty Young stuff yet? I don't know if that's been collected yet.
I haven't read that yet.
I think the first trade is out.
It's good. It's really good. It's Scotty Young, and if you know anything about his humor and his personality, it's great. It's really good. It's a lot of fun.
Is that a future classic, or are you going to a different future classic?
I don't think it's quite there yet. I think it's only 5-6 issues, but I really don't think it's quite there yet. But it's really good.
I should one up Jess and say the correct answer is Cable and Deadpool, but you know what?
I haven't read it yet.
I'll leave you alone.
Go ahead and say it. I haven't read it yet.
I already used CSO though with his New Warriors. Luis, what's another potential classic for you, man?
All right, so this is a given to anybody that's pretty much read this. This is by a writer/illustrator that he died in the past few years, and the day he died, I actually still remember exactly where I was when I heard the news that he passed, because he was at the time, and still is, probably my favorite artist of all time and one of my favorite writers of all time. I'm talking about Darwyn Cooke's magnum opus, New Frontier. New Frontier can best be described in Darwyn's own words as the right thing for comics. It's, how many issues is New Frontier? But they were double-sized issues. I think it's 7, 8 issues.
Oh, I have the absolute, so I don't know.
Yeah, I forgot how many issues it is, but they were double-sized. New Frontier is, it's honestly, it's a masterpiece. There's really no other way to put it, from just the way that Cooke draws all the characters to that classic 1950s, 1960s aesthetic. There's nothing else really for me to say that if you have not read New Frontier, you absolutely 100%
owe it to yourself to read New Frontier. Cook went as far as going on as creating the story and introducing the characters in the order that they actually appeared in DC Universe. That is how they appear in that book. You get certain characters first, and then you get another character first, and then you get another character, because that's how they first appeared in DC. The man was fucking crazy. And it's a labor of love, and it's beautiful. It's one of the best things that's been published probably in the past 20, 30 years involving comics. I love New Frontier, and it's fantastic.
Totally agree with everything you said.
Yeah, if it's not a classic now, then it should be.
Yeah,
because I think it's been out long enough for it to be a classic.
I think especially it was an instant classic.
Since he passed away, too. I love the colors in that, too.
Oh, yeah. Who is it? Is that Stewart?
Weird. Yeah, because the Absolute doesn't contain that one shot that he did afterwards, and it pisses me off because DC never resolicited a new Absolute with including that story. I think they did a hardcover, but they never redid the Absolute with that story, and damn it.
Because that one-shot issue, if I remember correctly, was in the Blu-ray release of New Frontier. I think that's how it came out. Or it was like a one-shot issue that he just put out. And DC Comics begged Cook to come back and do more issues of New Frontier, and he turned it down because he didn't want to fuck with it.
Good for him. I love people that stand their ground.
Yeah. I love his interpretation of Wonder Woman, how she's actually an Amazon. There's a single panel where it's Superman and it's Wonder Woman, and she's just liberated a camp of women. I believe it was in Vietnam. They were being held hostage, and she's on top of a table. She jumps off the table and she stands toe-to-toe with Superman, and she is like a foot taller than Superman in this. It's just that little attention to detail and that scale that I love so much in Cook's work. And I asked Cook about this a few years ago because originally they pitched, I forgot who it was. I think it was Cook, and he told me who it was that he was with. I want to say it was Rucka and Cook. And they pitched a Wonder Woman ongoing to DC Comics, and DC Comics turned it down because they said that the character of Wonder Woman, his interpretation was too fat, and they hated it. So we almost had, if I remember correctly, the writer was Rucka. We almost had a Greg Rucka, Darwin Cook drawn Wonder Woman run in that style.
That sucks. I hate seeing things like that, missed opportunities.
Yeah.
Books
and
never
I
come.
think DC just hates money. That's what I think it is.
I wonder who was on the book. Never mind. Doesn't matter now. My turn, right?
Mm-hmm. The animated film of New Frontier is awesome. Dirty Hot Dog Waterfall. I've watched it, and it's great. Sorry, go ahead, Omar.
I was just thinking.
Okay.
Joss Whedon, Astonishing X-Men.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Clutch.
That's a love letter to the X-Men I grew up with. So much so, I think those first 6 issues had me in tears of joy that I'm like, oh my God, it's like coming back home. It's crazy. Because Grant Morrison is the guy that brought me back into comic books after I left for about a decade. And you know, in his run on New X-Men, much like his JLA, were ups and downs. But I don't think he got the magic of X-Men. Like the recaptured that Claremont magic, but Whedon, he got it. Man, that run was amazing. I love that run. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was when Cassidy could draw.
Yeah,
poor guy.
I really think, and what happened to him?
Yeah, I really think he probably had like a Space Jam situation where somebody gave him a pencil or like a pen, and it just sapped away all his talent. It's somewhere. Poor guy.
Did we talk about this book last week, Omar?
God damn it, that was my next pick.
You stole one from me. This is my favorite one. Also, my favorite Deadpool in this. This is my favorite X
we
book.
didn't.
My favorite X book with a great fan X in it, with a great Deadpool in it, with a wonderful apocalypse storyline. And Psylocke is bitchin', and Angel has metallic wings, and I don't know. There's nothing wrong with this book at all. Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force. This and the next book are what got me into collected editions. The next book that I'm going to talk about. Luis, you can go on and talk about why, since I promised I wouldn't go too long on my analysis, you can go on and tell everybody why Uncanny X-Force is so great. It is just packed with awesomeness. I just got me into comics.
Did you just motorboat?
I motorboated the
Uncanny
air.
X-Force? That's
Yeah,
like the best review. That's the best review of that omnibus I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I hope someone is watching this and they reprint this. That's a blurb on the front of the book. By the Omnidog.
Big enough to motorboat.
Okay. Uncanny X-Force, man. I mean, that was God, okay, we talked about this book so fucking much. We even dedicated a whole episode to the first arc of this. Uncanny X-Force is Rick Remender, who, if you've read any of his work, Black Science, Deadly Class, Fear Agent, I forgot what else he's got going on right now at Image Comics. Guy's writing a lot. This is his best work. I don't think, and I've read a lot of Remender, and I am currently reading a lot of Remender stuff. I don't think he has topped himself from this book. This is 36 issues, I want to say. 38.
30.
Like that.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's like 30, 36, 38. Yeah.
Yeah. This is 36, 38 issues, however many it is, of just pure great storytelling and great drama and great X-Men comics. From the very beginning, he establishes the stakes with that first arc involving, okay, look, fuckers, we talked about this book like a million times, so if you haven't read this, I guess tune out for like a minute. Involving the Kid Apocalypse and with, okay, so you find out in the very first issue, Apocalypse is coming back. And it's like, oh shit, Apocalypse is coming back. This is really bad shit. And the X-Men find out about this as well. Like, oh man, he's really coming back. When you get to the end of the issue, you find out, yeah, he's back, but he's a child. And they are on their way to kill him. And basically the decisions that they make in that entire decisions they make in that entire first arc echo throughout that entire story and reverberate throughout that whole story. The end of that first arc ends with a bang, literally. And it had my mouth dropped to the floor with the decision that Remender made, and I was like, wow, are you sure this is a Marvel comic? Oh, wow, I forgot they can actually do this type of stuff in these books. Art by Jerome Pena. I forgot who else is on. He's got a slew of different artists. If you've never read Uncanny X-Force, it's great. I mean, Remender pulls so many deep cut references from the X-Men's past that you don't even really have to know. But if you do know about them, you get so much more out of it. From the way Psylocke dresses to just pulling stuff from the Grant Morrison era, and it's just little stuff like that. I love it. I love his run.
It's an awesome book. I will say that the first 4 story arcs are probably the best until the Apocalypse Twins story is over. Then it kind of, unfortunately, the story just kind of, at least to me, it died down a little bit. I still think Fear Agent is probably my favorite Remender book I've read.
No, I cried over the Fear Agent.
This is up there though, but it's just he got to play with these really cool characters that I really liked, and throwing Phantom X into the mix right after you know, because once Morrison left, the whole mystery of Phantom X became the who the fuck cares now. Doesn't matter. Only Morrison knew who he really was. But then, you know, Remender did some really cool things with that character. So, my next pick for a run that I really enjoyed, and sadly one that is not properly collected. It's just collected in old fucking trade paperbacks, and that is Dennis O'Neil's The Question.
Ooh, wow.
I love that run, and we don't have proper collections of them. We have old trades. We need, hell, they could do it in like 2 big fat hardcovers or 1 huge omnibus. It would be nice, but I don't know. I think the story. Have you guys read The Question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I read it when it came out back in singles.
I've heard of it.
The story that I always like to talk about is what the hell is it called? Like I Dream of Rorschach or A Dream of Rorschach. It's where the Question's reading an issue of Watchmen, and he's like, man, Rorschach is kind of a badass.
Rorschach?
Yeah, you know, the guy from Watchmen.
Rorschach.
Yes.
Rorschach.
Lane Wayne now is Rorschach.
Oh boy, Cycle Cleveland in the chat. Cycle Cleveland in the chat. 'Cause I'm gonna leave right now.
Cycle Cleveland is in the chat. Mark it down. Rorschach.
Oh,
Sorry,
hear the end of this shit. But anyway, he tries to become a badass detective like him, and he kind of sucks at it, and he gets his ass whooped, and ends up tossing the comic in the trash towards the end of the. I think it's only like 1 or 2 issues long, but I love that freaking storyline. That kind of summed up what The Question was like, and who also did a really good job on that run through a series of miniseries was Greg Rucka. Like what was it, the Poison Bible or the Blood Bible?
Oh shoot, I can.
He did
5.
Yeah, there were 5 issues, and there were 3 different ones, and he was like, because they were all part of different crossovers, like Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis, and I can't remember what the other one was. But regardless of what it was,
Books of Blood, I think.
Yeah, he was able to tell his Question story through those little miniseries, and I thought that was a really cool way of doing it. And that's never been collected, I don't think, in one big collection. Now I'm gonna go
in the chat, man. Nash Villains, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat.
You motherfuckers, I own that shit. That's $1.99. That goes to me.
Rorschach has lifted my spirits on this shit day.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
He got a really bad fucking deal from
yeah,
UPS
he did. He got shafted.
Oh man, I'm sorry about that, dude.
I haven't been able to comment because I don't even know how to deal with something like that. So I assume somebody opened up his package and took his book
and gave him a frisbee instead.
Yeah, that's weird because
what?
He took a picture of it, and it's in the Facebook group where somebody had they claimed it was from the USPS that it had been opened and damaged, but instead of his book that he got, it was like one of his wells. It was like a frisbee in there, and the damn sticker looks fake as shit. So I don't know if somebody in the post office got slick or what. I've never seen anything like that.
No, I haven't either.
If they shipped it in media mail, they can open it, so it might have been something where somebody cracked it open and
inspected it, right? But
yeah,
usually they just tape it back up.
I think when I shipped Jess's books, because I sold them some Superman books, they opened that up then because I shipped a media mail.
I think they did. Yeah, but they just packaged it back up. My last book is one of the earlier collected editions I read and helped launch me into reading more Marvel, and that is Brubaker and Fraction's Immortal Iron Fist.
Look at you holding up that well.
It doesn't get talked about much.
Yeah, it does. You're just not in the right groups. Yeah. Are you part of the Smart Comics group?
No.
Alliance?
No, the Smart Comics Alliance, is that a group?
Yeah.
No, they rejected my membership.
Yeah, Psycho Cleveland and I, we were founding members.
Yeah. Well, this has Raw Shark and Lane
Yeah, I knew
Wayne
you were
in
gonna
it.
bring that back up, motherfucker. All right, tell me about this book. Tell me about the book. Why do you like it so much?
If the Netflix show had been based off of this, it would have been a huge hit, because this takes him from his beginning and retells it, and I'm about to motorboat this too, because it is got fantastic art by Aha, and I don't know, it helped get me back into Marvel Comics. It tells the story of Iron Fist brilliantly, his adventures in Kunlun, and it made it believable that this white guy was the Iron Fist, and I just think it was just remarkable. I loved this book to pieces, and I need to read it again because it was like 4 years ago that I read it. But if Netflix had pulled this instead of what they pulled, it would have been a great show. Great
That's what
show.
It really should have been. It's basically Mortal Kombat.
And that is my last book that I will talk about.
Okay. Was that it? Is that all our runs?
I think so.
I think so too. Got
this would be a good time to talk about InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. Over $50 in the United States in an order gets you free shipping. Fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com.
I'm sorry, Clint Gilbert. I think Clint Gilbert has the best one so far. Rosh, I'm not in the aquarium with you. You're in the aquarium with me.
That is great.
I don't even know why I do this fucking show with y'all.
Oh my god!
I should limit myself to one time a week. I was doing so well.
This Iron Fist is not Silver Age; it is Modern Age.
We need a Raw Shark t-shirt.
Oh my gosh!
We need a Silver Age Iron Fist. That was the stuff done by Claremont and some of the stuff by Byrne. I'm surprised that book never got reprinted. The Brubaker and Fraction run.
Yeah, I really am. Yeah, that considering Brubaker's pedigree.
Silver Surfer, none of that stuff ever got reprinted. It's really weird.
Jimmy Owens, don't you dare spoil a fucking thing, because I'm rereading Saga right now. And everybody keeps telling me how my heart's going to get broken on issue 54 or something like that, and I am looking forward to it.
Thanks, Cycle.
Luis, where can they find you on the internet?
Comics Guide 101 on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff.
And how about you, Omar?
You can find me writing fanfic about my character Raw Shark on my channel called Near Mint Condition, motherfuckers. What was I gonna say? No, somebody asked if we brought up Daredevil by Bendis. I almost brought up Daredevil by Frank Miller, but not Bendis. I know you guys really like the Bendis run, but
yeah, I would consider that a classic as well. Bendis and
yeah, and Sledge is bringing up that I skipped Jonah Hex by Palmiotti and Gray. That was Jonah Hex continuing through New 52 All-Star Western was the greatest Jonah Hex written. That's a good call there, Sledge.
Really good. Cook did the art for a couple of those issues, right?
Yeah. And you can find me, Omnidog, on Omnidog's Vault, and on Instagram, Omnidogs_Vault. And while the chat will continue till midnight, talking about Princess Leia, whether she died or not, we will be peacing out Thank you for the chat. Please like and subscribe us. Hit the bell to get notifications. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.